I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by my co-host with Harrison Bader like hair.
Yeah, it's a weird ordeal. Katie is just proving to be childish.
Which is why I don't feel I would give $5 million to Jack Campbell.
I don't know. Baseball is one of those sports where anyone who makes the playoffs really can be a contender.
I think the Padres definitely do it.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell gets traded.
Kyrie Irving does have the track record of not being a great locker room fit, or even good locker room fit.
Bader got some luscious locks. I gotta say it.
This is Zach Bigley, the broadcaster for the Frisco Rough Riders, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin. You guys better subscribe.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another NBA Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the man that I know what side he's on in the center debate as we talk about the future of the Mavericks. And that's Austin, of course.
Yeah, that is a big conversation that the Mavericks need to have, is what they're going to do regarding the center position. Also, this draft, I think, is very important for them. You mentioned in our last video that we posted 2 days ago regarding how hard it is to return to the finals, and also this is the last year with the team having control of Kyrie. So this is a big year for the Mavs. If they're going to get back, it needs to be this year.
Yes, and the thing with me that makes me feel better is a lot of the key guys to me, like Gafford is key to the Mavs. I love having him on the Mavs, and it's a good debate given where the center position was just last year. To me, PJ Washington, they're also signed on pretty good contracts for next year, and then they're free agents in 2026. Yeah, it kind of all lines up where they could leave, where it's also Luka's year. So they could leave, so it's a big year for them. So to me, having PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford on this roster makes me feel better. I feel better about Derek Lively being on the team. And the next thing that I'll say is the only problem is Derek Jones Jr. being a free agent. He's a guy that I would love to have back, but he's probably not going to come back.
Yeah, you would have to get someone to take Tim Hardaway. You'd have to salary dump Tim Hardaway somewhere. You probably have to give up future picks to do so, and I don't know who's going to do that. Who's going to want to take the salary Tim Hardaway is going to bring? But that's what you would have to do, and that's a tough task. If you can't do that, DJJ is not going to take a low ball offer. This may be the biggest contract he gets his entire career. So the only real chance is salary dumping Hardaway, really, and that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and I don't know if they're necessarily going to be able to do it.
Yeah, to me, so I feel better about just next season, because when you look at the Western Conference final run, that was kind of a fluke, and then Jalen left. To me, the biggest key to the Mavericks for me is just roster construction wise. I would like to limit Tim Hardaway Jr.'s role. To me, they need a point guard that can fill in, so Kyrie and Luka, one of them doesn't have to be on the floor at all times. Another guy can come in. And then to me, the question is the small forward position. Because to me, you're set at the both guard spots. You got Luka and Kyrie. You're set at center with either Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively. I would like Derek Lively to be there. I'm really excited for his next season, but I understand if you have Daniel Gafford there, and then you have PJ Washington at the 4. However, Derek Jones Jr. most likely not coming back. Even if he did come back, I would be interested in upgrading the small forward position with getting someone that plays good defense and then can create their own shot. Or just one of those things. I don't know where you feel. I don't know what your thoughts are on the roster.
Yeah, I'm really interested. I think Omax is the huge question mark. He could really fill in the Derrick Jones Jr. role. I do think that the Mavs need another scorer, but I think Hardy could come into that next year. I think that's something that we don't know. It's the biggest question mark. I think it's how good Hardy will be, and also Omax. I think those two could really change the makeup of this team and also help them progress extremely quickly to being a top 3 team in the West again next year. I think there was a little bit. I hate using the word luck, but stuff happens, and there's things that happen every year that helps. The Mavs did get hot at the right time. I still like the Nuggets and Timberwolves a little bit more, but I do think that the Mavs are in a great spot if they can get Hardy and if they can get Omax to be. Omax, you don't have to necessarily get to a starting level player, but you just a good contributor off the bench. And then you also get Jaden Hardy to be that next, take that next step and to become a true scorer in this league.
Yeah, that's what I really like about this team. I remember we've had this conversation even last year. They have a lot of young guys on the team. Luka is relatively young, 25. PJ Washington is 26. Daniel Gafford is 26. Then you get to Josh Green, who's 24, 25. Then you also bring up, there are young guys like Jaden Hardy and Omax. They have potential. To me, I feel it's a lot to put on Omax. Like, I don't think Omax is going to fill that small forward spot. I could see him being a productive player on the bench. Maybe Josh Green makes another step. Just solid rotation player. And I'm also excited to see what Derek Lively does. Maybe he can become that scorer. But I was thinking about, I don't know how it works, but I was looking at free agents. To me, the Mavs don't need to go get a star. They just need to get a solid player. I was talking to one friend we both know. He was not a fan of this idea. But how do you feel? I know it may be very difficult to get him on this team. What do you think about Bruce Brown as that small forward position?
I don't know. Oh, man. Do you think, what would the trade look like?
Well, it says, so what I'm looking at NBA Players Free Agent Tracker. It lists Bruce Brown as a free agent.
He's under contract for next year. But it's a club option. The Raptors will keep him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's a team option. So all the team has to say is, yes, we want you. And I would be shell shocked if they decided that they didn't want him.
Yeah. With a trade, I think we can maybe see the Mavs give up Josh Green. I wouldn't be opposed to Jaden Hardy. I also think a key piece that could be traded is Maxi Kleba. Like, he's a productive player, but
yes, I do think he could be a trade option. The problem is that injury this year really did harm his availability and his level of play during the playoffs. But I do believe that he could be a good player next year. It's just injuries have really derailed it. I don't know necessarily if you're going to be able to trade him to a great spot, but I would like to see him get healthy and see what we really have left in the tank.
But yeah, so that's kind of, I don't know how it works. And I was kind of surprised the Mavs do have a second round pick this year. I don't know. I know the room to get Bronny, but I don't really believe in that. I view that as just like Twitter talk. So to me, it's what could they do with that second round pick? Jaden Hardy was a second round pick that they ended up trading for. So there's a lot I can trust this front office. To me, it's just the finer details. The biggest question to me is when I'm looking at their future, what do we see from young players? What do we see from Derek Lively, Jaden Hardy? His development seemed to do great in the playoffs. Like, he was playmaking as well. I would like him to take the place of Tim Hardaway. If they can get rid of Tim Hardaway, I would prefer that, because Jaden Hardy fills that spot of what he brings, which is just a hot shooter and a guy that will shoot. So, and I think Jaden Hardy offers more. Then you also have Omax. There's a lot of potential. But the question to me is small forward in that starting five.
Yeah. And then you do get to keep guys like Exum. I think Exum next year should get a bigger role.
I love Exum.
Say again.
I love Dante Exum. Like, he's a good defender.
He only got 8 minutes per night, Kevin, but he shot an 83% true shooting percentage, 70% from the field, 60-something% from three. I don't know why he didn't get more minutes. Hopefully, Kid will start to utilize him a lot more, and I do think that he deserves more playing time.
Yeah, he was a guy that didn't have a lot of confidence in the other series. Like, OKC, they would leave him open. He wouldn't shoot, but in the finals, he was shooting, and he was knocking down those threes. So I really like the deal he got with Nico. Nico did a great job with signing Derek Jones Jr. And Dante Exum. So those were contributing guys compared to a few years, like the year prior. I think he signed the short point guard from Campazzo, and they just weren't really hitting on their free agents. They really did well with Dante Exum and Derek Jones Jr. They were just solid hits. Love Dante Exum. He could fill that point guard role off the bench, but I also wouldn't be opposed to have another point guard, and that just gives more minutes to someone else and kind of takes the ease off playmaking, because the only true playmakers right now on the Mavs, quality playmakers, are Kyrie Irving and Luka.
Yeah, we'll have to see what changes are made. I do think this draft is important for the Mavs. If they could get a diamond in the rough, I think that'd be a great ad. Do you want to talk the maybe Bronny James discussion or what?
I don't really believe it. I'd be shocked if LeBron comes. And, like, to me, I don't think he takes a small deal. Like, it'd take a lot to get him. LeBron is a great player, but I don't like trading a lot. We just look at the future of the Lakers. It's absolutely gutted because they're like, we need LeBron. And I just wouldn't like that. So we'll have to see if they actually do it. Like, if just getting Bronny as a prospect, I don't view that. Like, I guess he plays small forward.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it.
Well, I mean, Bronny would actually probably play more of a shooting guard or point guard role.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a huge believer in it. I'll believe it when I see it. Like, if it happens, okay. We only have like a week to find out, which is kind of crazy. I'm not really familiar with a lot of NBA prospects. I'm trying to think, maybe there's a young guard. But I view that second round pick as more of a trade piece.
Okay. We'll see.
But yeah, we've seen what Nico can do during the draft. Like, he got Derek Lively, which is incredible. He also got Omax in that deal. Has done really well getting draft guys. Like Jaden Hardy too was a trade up with the Kings when the Mavs didn't have a second round pick. So I'm excited to see what Nico does. He's a very opportunistic GM, and I like that about him. So the future is bright. However, you do have to go against the West, and to me, fixing that is getting another scorer, which could be on this roster. Derek Lively could develop in it. Jaden Hardy, as you mentioned. So I think I've talked enough about their future. I'm really excited to see where it takes. The problem is Kyrie, and they really got to capitalize. So any final thoughts?
No, I'm excited for next year for the Mavs. We'll see if they're able to make it back to the finals.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fun season for sure, and we'll keep you updated throughout that for all teams. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.